from both of our panel members in just a moment, but I do have a man joining us from the player area. I consider you a good friend, and I have to say, my friend, you should have the biggest grin on your face right now.
I think I do. Thank you. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot see you, but I can imagine how beautiful you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure. I also have a little bit of a confession to make, Godby. I know we're friends, but I didn't have you in my pick'ems.
No problem. It's okay.
Is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. Good. I'm let off. That's lucky. I thought this was going to be an awkward interview on the back of that. Let's get serious for a moment. You guys were 4-0 down in this game. Didn't look good to start with. A little bit shaky here and there. Got over the nerves. Was it a bit nerves, or what was it early on?
To be honest, yeah, a little bit. I think we were a little bit shaky. We had like a 3-on-2 situation in the pistol. We should have won, but they also had like really good shots. So props to them.
Yep.
And we knew we needed to have money because otherwise it's really hard to win rounds. And even though we won rounds, they kept saving their weapons. At least at the start, it was really hard. So we needed to play a lot of equip rounds, and we used the eco rounds to scout out how. Are they playing like we know they play, or they play a little different? And we figured out they played a little bit different. Kyo didn't help Banana in the start at all. So we figured out, okay, we can take Banana control easier against 2 as against 3. And yeah, after we take Banana control once, and we knew, okay, Kyo needs to, they will take him now to Banana, and then we rushed A. Like we had like a pretty easy game plan, but overall, like we also practiced really well for this map against also we practiced against other teams, and we imagined to play against FaZe, so we played kind of the same strategies over and over again. So we're pretty confident, but as you guys said, we're pretty shaky at the start.
Yeah, definitely a surprise for everyone outside of your team, I guess. Where do you rank this on the big scale? Because you've had 6-7 months together now. This has to be your biggest win so far, doesn't it?
It doesn't feel like the biggest win because, to be honest, it's like the first game in the Swiss system. Everything can happen. Still, even FaZe, you know, they can. It's not time for them to put their heads down or so. It's just the first game. Even though we would have lost the first game, we said to ourselves, "Hey, we will stay cool. We will laugh. We will have fun, and we will play like we played in the pracs."
Yep.
And we did that. Unfortunately for FaZe. Fortunately for us, and yeah, we're really happy at the moment.
Well, you're very humble, as always, but I have to say, this thing you've got going on with the team where you're all in the same house and you're enjoying each other's company and your friends, and I heard earlier you're taking vacations together. What are you doing? Seriously, come on, man. Go and have a vacation on your own. Do it after the major or something. But it's great, but it's also, it seems to be leaking into the communications that you have. I saw a few shots of some of your players. When you lose a round, there's no arguing, there's no getting upset. I saw several of you almost laughing sometimes in some of the rounds, thinking, Christ, what did we do in that round? How do you do that?
The mood is really good,
yeah.
But they are screaming, they are arguing, but they're a little bit hidden. So
okay.
No, we need to be honest. Sometimes I can be a little bit angry to my teammates.
You angry? No.
Yeah, I
can.
But
I'm not having any of that.
I've heard the stories.
If I'm hungry, I'm really angry sometimes.
You're hangry? Okay.
Yeah.
I've also got Moses alongside and Nato. I know they want to ask you a few questions as well.
I was wondering, like, there was a bunch of rounds where the time really went down to the last, I don't know, 7 seconds or so before you hit the bomb side. Was it more about you guys being maybe a little timid in certain situations, taking a little bit more time than you usually do in practice? Or was that something you really planned out? You wanted to make sure that you had all corners covered before you went to a bomb site?
To be honest, it's really hard to play against FaZe on this map because the equipment timing is so hard. It feels really pressured. The in-game leader, like I had a lot of... my game was just like chess. I just needed to dodge the equipment from the enemy, and my team needed to make the kills. Like, it was really hard for me sometimes, but the first 2 gun rounds went as we expected them, but then they obviously adapted, and we needed to adapt again, and that's why we sometimes didn't had so much time left. And I would also agree with you that we were a little bit afraid to go through smokes maybe and these kind of stuff. And also props to FaZe. I think they played as CT really good. It sometimes came down to really, really less time, which will happen a lot on Inferno. And obviously they also made in the late game a few mistakes, which we benefit from. But overall, it was like really hard for us, and that's why we needed to play like the 10-second game or the 15-second game.
Yep.
You know, some of those mistakes they were making coming down the stretch is players coming through smokes, players not waiting for their teammates to do retakes when you guys did take a bomb site on your T side. When you're playing against that, I know you kind of get that feeling that you finally, you know, put your opponents on tear, like maybe a little bit frustrated. When you go into the second half, that call to push down middle on CT pistol, is that something to kind of like push them over the edge a little bit, in a sense that they were kind of at that precipice, or was that always planned from the start of this match?
No, it was planned from start of the match. It was nothing psychologically or so, but...
Did you feel like they were tilting at all? Did you feel getting to that point?
We didn't felt that they were tilting, but in some point we felt like the ideas of them, they didn't have any ideas left. It the rounds went almost like the same way all the time. So they didn't play like, they played aggressive banana and they keep smoking mid. So we needed to have really much patience. And as I said, we needed to play this 25-second game because they went out of equipment in the late game. And they didn't. That's what they could do better in the next game. A small tip, Finn. You should balance your equipment sometimes and just hold it off and don't re-smoke every single time. But I know they will do it and they will learn from this lose for sure.
Okay. One more.
Kind of, when I was watching, I got the sense that like some of the tactics you were calling were like layered, where some of the strategies you called early on in the match were leading into tactics you wanted to call later in. Is there truth to that? Or are you kind of like looking at setting up like an early game to the half to allow you to set up, you know, the second stages of the half?
Yeah, sometimes. In this game, it was also like this. The key was Kiyoshima. We needed to have him where we want him to have. And there was also one round where we exploded apps and I was the guy who were entering, and I just watched just one position. I just went out and just watched balcony. I didn't watch any other position. So it kind of worked in the end, but also it was a little bit lucky, to be honest, because it's still Counter-Strike. He could stay in another position, even though most of the time he will stay in this position. But yeah, in the end we were a little bit lucky, and the preparation was also key again. And yeah. We're happy. What can I say?
Yeah, good stuff.
Well
indeed.
deserved.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Scott.
One quick question as well. You recently joined the 30 Club, your birthday. Sorry, happy belated birthday, by the way. I know you celebrated it a few days ago. You're one of 4 players here that are now over 30 at the major, which is incredible. Does that allow you to enjoy moments like this more?
No, I wouldn't say.
You just want to be 10 years younger like me?
Yeah, exactly. The club is something special, but I would rather not be in the club.
Right, okay. I won't talk about it ever again. I won't ever bring it up, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Congrats on a great game and a win on day 1.